Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chai or Coffee with Us. Hope you had a great week, and welcome back. Remember, we are on a weekly basis, Sunday morning, so don't forget to tune in and do stay on till the end of the show because you can actually win some prizes. Do enter the contest with some questions at the end. So, what is success? Success to us is all different. Some people want to be doctors, some people want to be lawyers. And today joins us somebody that had all the glitz and glamour and acting and modeling. Now, please welcome Barkha Madan, now known as Venerable Samten. And if I say that wrong, please correct me. She has entertained people through her work in films, movies, modeling career. Obviously, she's very beautiful to sit beside us, and you are very inspiring to all of us.
Yes.
We all have some really firing questions for you, but before we get to all that questioning of firing at you, why don't you tell us a little bit about your own journey of your past, how you came into, the acting career, where you grew up, where you were born, and then we'll get into where you are now and where you want to be in the future.
Wow. Well, first of all, I'm really happy to be here with all of you, and especially a big thanks to Mandipaji. Because of him, I'm here, and we go back a long way. So I'm really happy that he invited me on this show. Now, to answer that question, will perhaps take more than one episode.
10 questions in one, right?
So I'll just keep it kind of fairly simple.
Sure.
Like anybody else growing up, you have ambitions and aspirations to be somebody, to do something in your life, and that's what led me to be in Bombay and to pursue my goal in modeling. And actually, I didn't want to be an actor, but it just kind of led me.
You did or you didn't?
I didn't want to be.
You didn't?
Oh, wow.
Oh,
no.
okay.
So I was just happy being modeling, and I thought I'll come back and pursue my master's, but I didn't do that. So one thing led to another, and before I knew, I was acting, and then before I knew further, I was producing films.
Wow.
And but while all this was going on, there was always this very, kind of innate thought that there is something more to life, there is something more that I need to sort of fulfill. All the glamour, all the money, all the adulation and success is there, but I think one has to be honest to oneself and then figure out what's your true calling. And for me, that search for freedom was always there. What is really truly is freedom. And sometimes we think getting all this name and fame is my ticket to freedom, but it's actually not.
Right.
It's I think about year 2000, that I went to Dharamsala and I got the opportunity of meeting His Holiness the Dalai Lama.
Oh, wow.
And then I felt my queries and my questions being answered in his public teaching and his talk. And that just kind of hooked me in. And I think it gave a spontaneous rise to be part of that Sangha. And in 2012, I met with my root guru, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and then I asked him, I really was curious if this is my path, and so I asked him, and then he said, yes, it is. And you can do your ordination, you can do it tomorrow.
Wow. That was actually what I was behind the scenes. You guys weren't there, but I was actually asking her. I said, take me back to the day that you actually decided that this is the step that you want to take. Was it something that was premeditated or something that you said, okay, that's enough. This is what I want to do. And I was really intrigued by her story where she said, no, you know what? That her guru actually said, no, you can do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't that easy that I just popped in there and he said tomorrow, because the first time I had this thought was really in 2000 itself. And I did approach a senior monastic there, and I said, you think I can be a nun? And he said, it's not easy being a nun.
Absolutely.
And at that moment, I was just in my 20s, and the feminine pride kind of rising up and saying, what do you mean it's not easy being a nun? You think it's easy being an actor, you think it's easy being a woman, So, but he brought my mind to the very fact that to lead a monastic life, you need to understand what it really entails, and it's not a shoddy commitment. This is something for a lifetime, and it's going to be a switch of lifestyle. So he encouraged me that please study more, explore the path more, and this is what I was doing for all these years. So whether I would really become a nun sooner or later, it kind of took a back seat. I was just now enjoying what it means to explore the path of Buddha Dharma. You know, I was having a practice of meditation. I was going for retreats. But yes, then the seeds ripened in 2012, and I said, I think I'm really ready.
So it took you 12 years.
Yes, you can say that. You can really say that it took me 12 years. But when I approached my guru, I was telling her, I was really praying he would say yes.
Oh, okay.
You know, I was really praying he wouldn't say.
Right.
I really wanted it, yes, and I was really praying in my heart that he shouldn't say no. But I also wasn't that sure that he would say do it tomorrow, because it was already night. It was already 8 o'clock when I met him in the night.
Okay.
You know?
Sometimes things are just meant to happen.
yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
you know, especially when I feel like when there's a call for something, especially something as big as, you know, finding yourself, you're finding, you know, your soul purpose to a lot of reasons in life. And a lot of people don't end up finding it. I'm going to actually touch base on that real quick. But there's a lot of, especially for the younger generation, I would say, you know, they're always in this mindset where they think that I don't know where I am at. I don't know where I belong. Especially in today's world, I feel like, you know, the world is just coming to a point where they don't know. Everyone's just trying to figure it out. So, you know, just understanding from you that it's not that easy all alone, especially the fact that it took you 12 years after knowing and understanding the meaning to, you know, where you are today. I mean, that alone shows so much. But I want to know from you, for the younger generations, you know, that today, like for me, I sometimes sit there and I'm like, where am I? What's the sole purpose of, you know, being here alone at the end of the day? That's really what it comes down to, right? Sometimes people find their little isolated time and they're just, you know, all by themselves. But where would you tell them, like, for someone like me that sits there and...
Well, I would say I was one time like you know?
Of course.
And it's actually a very personal thing. And we are all looking for happiness, whether we're young or old or, you know, rich or poor. No matter who we are, and the basic goal in life is to be happy. But then how you relate with happiness. We think getting a lot of material success is leading to happiness. But look around us, it's not.
It's
You
not,
know?
clearly.
So the true happiness is not really lying in material success. I'm not saying that don't have a material goal, but that's not the end goal. You know? And once we have that, we can have a balance. At the same time, I wouldn't say everybody should run to a monastery and become a monk or a nun, you know, or become a monastic in whichever faith you are at. But it's just getting that balance together, being in your material life. How can I have that humane value, my inner values being intact? What can I do to make other people's life more meaningful? How can I touch them? You know, so these are our value systems. I think everybody's raised with those.
Well, since we come into that question right now, why don't you give our audience some
Some
ways
tips.
that people can actually touch people's
Oh.
lives and, you know,
That's
give some tips,
But
to what
in
they
the
can
very just on that note, you know, one very basic way of sharing is sharing your time with people. This is what I'm finding. Surprisingly, we have all these tools, but we don't really touch base with people. You know, we are doing like buttons.
Well, yeah, social media is like,
Yes,
you know,
and it ends there. You know, how many likes have I got on Instagram? How many likes do I have on any other portal? But that's not really called connecting with somebody.
I thought Instagram took that off.
They did. They actually
They
did.
took that off, or
They
is it
did,
still
though.
on?
You know?
They took
They
that
did.
away.
Okay, whatever it may be, you
I wasn't
get
sure.
Yeah.
But it's just like, you know, can I make a personal connection? Can I be there for a person? And can this not be transactional? Because most of us are doing it, what's in for me?
Yes.
True.
You know, what am I going to
Yeah.
get out of it? And should I even be there or not, you know? So let's not make this transactional. Let's just be there for the sake of being there, you know?
Sometimes I think, like, I think that I'm not doing the things what I'm supposed to do, but it's very hard question to find out what I want from my life. How to find that, what I want.
What you want in your
Yeah.
life is your own
I think I'm
yeah.
confused. Like sometimes, like most of people, so many people, they said like, no, we're just doing the things from day to night,
Monotonous
doing the
things
same,
and
yeah.
routine.
And then like no, and sometimes it comes in my mind, like for myself too, that this is not the thing I really wanted in my life. I want to be happy in some other way, but it's very hard to find out what to do. So any suggestion for me personally?
I would just say that if you sit with your own self and you give yourself some time, you will get the answers to your own queries, because our minds are really quite filled with lots of ideas and thoughts and answers, you know. We just have to give it time and let it come out organically. And to say what's the purpose of my life, I think it's kind of plain and simple. It's to be happy, you know. And what is true happiness is what we have to search for. And for everybody, true happiness could mean something else. But from a monastic point of view, true happiness truly means to be free of suffering. You know,
True.
So we have to come to the point of what's causing me suffering.
Free of suffering.
Yes.
That's
You know?
so big.
All
that
those
you
previous
touched on.
boyfriends.
Clean up all those.
Well, that's another thing, you know. The mind is always saying, I'm suffering because of this guy, or because of this job, or because of this, you know, the way the government is, or the weather is, you know. But okay, that's outer conditions.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
if there was not an inner seed of anger or jealousy or insecurity, you wouldn't really be
Wouldn't
suffering.
feel it. Yeah.
You know. So basically, this is what it's.
So those are the actual sufferings which within you. So you have to
Those are
find out that and then
self-created, I
take
guess,
those out.
right?
Yeah,
those are
it's just
self-created.
Yeah.
So do
yeah.
you believe in this? This is big though. So do you believe in this whole thing of the law of attraction? For, let's say, you know, when you ask for happiness, if you're really into it and if you're really looking for what you really need, you know, and you really attract it. It's whether you're attracting negative or whether you're attracting positive. It's you who attracts. So I'm guessing are you a big believer in terms of law of attraction of the world?
Well, I'm a believer of law of karma.
Yes.
That's a law of causality. So it simply says what you do is what you get. You want to be happy, you do virtuous things. You don't want to be happy, you know, then
Go
you
against it.
Exactly. So you abandon what is blocking or creating an obstacle for your happiness. That's being non-virtuous. You know, stop lying, don't kill. You know, don't misbehave with other people, don't cheat, don't steal. These are basic ideas of like, you know.
Talking about, as we were talking, like purpose on earth, and I'm always wondering, why am I here on this earth? What's my purpose, right? And I'm still confused, to be honest. So are there any universal signs that we can get on that path? Like, how would I know? How would I interpret if universe is asking me to do this thing, not that thing?
I think if we, instead of looking at it that way, that universe is outside of me, then it's within me, then I'm interconnected, then perhaps we'll get our answers, because this is difficult for me to say universe is in isolation and I'm in isolation,
Yeah.
you know. If we understand the interconnectedness of everything around us, including the elements of the nature, you know, it's always giving us signs. First of all, everything wants to be in harmony,
Yes.
you know, and once we're not in harmony, we are in imbalance, and when we're in imbalance, we're suffering.
Yeah. Okay, give us one tip. How to be in harmony.
You just bombard you with the questions, everybody.
Okay, so first of all, what is causing us, you know, this harmony?
Okay.
Let's see
Figure
that.
it out first.
Yes.
I think figuring
And
that
then
out.
once we know what is causing me this harmony or imbalance around me, abandon those actions. You know, and to be in harmony really means to respect life outside, out there, to believe in the interconnectedness of life and elements. And then also, you know, bring in your environment into this. It's not just people and beings, you know.
Animals, your puppies.
Of course, your
Puppy.
We have to bring the puppies
most
in.
of the time, the disharmony comes from our attachments. So how do we separate those attachments from us?
Oh, that's a brilliant question.
Right?
Yes, of course it is. Well, to begin with, we have to understand what attachment really means. So you all will have your own definitions of attachment, right? So we can just take a quick round. What do you think of attachment?
I think just mentally and physically just being connected with someone in terms of vibes. I think that's what it means to me.
Okay.
Attachment in terms of, like, you know, I intuitively connect with you. Yeah, that's what my meaning of attachment would be. So my friend.
And I feel like attachment is like something that I cannot live without. That's what I feel.
Yes, okay.
Attachment for me, just it's I don't know, I guess a word that just says, you know what, I have some sort of a connection with this. Either I don't want to let it go, and sometimes you have attachment to something, and you'll chuck it. Just it doesn't matter whether it's material or whether it's even a relationship, right? So to me, attachment is something that's you know, you feel some sort of a connection towards, emotional connection.
Okay.
Yeah, for me too. I think the attachment is this, either an item or any person you cannot detached with.
So
Could be any materialistic thing or any human.
Then
or a
you see
relation.
in all our
So
definitions,
different.
There's so many
it's different, but there's a commonality that I can't do without this thing, right? I can't do without it. There's a sense of craving and grasping, right? And this is exactly what attachment's job description is, to make that thing look very delicious or attractive.
It's chai.
Intrinsically very delicious cup of chai, right? The deliciousness is in the chai. It's not in my way I perceive it,
Yes.
the way I taste it.
Right.
So that's the first thing, is to understand it.
That's a good one. I like that.
If I keep projecting, it's out there, oh, that person is so pretty, oh, that person is so attractive, and I want it. My grasping towards it, and I want it. It's not the person causing me the distress when he wants to leave me or go away. It's my grasping at it.
It's my thoughts.
You channeled yourself.
Yeah,
to do
so
that.
you have to understand this. What is love then?
Yeah.
We don't know how to love without thinking, oh, if you don't call me 10 times in a day, you don't love me.
Yeah.
Or if you're away from me, you don't love me. If you are engaging in conversation with somebody else when I'm there, you don't love me. We have all these narratives when we are in relationship, and we are kind of projecting all the time.
Yeah.
So just
Projecting your own fears,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah,
And
it
on
is
other
our
people.
own
Attachment.
insecurities,
Yeah.
right?
like you really said, attachment will lead to have internal fears and insecurities and jealousy and envy. And once you have that, are you
What?
happy?
Are you happy?
Everything is
Motivation for you. You
Okay,
asked.
no, wait a minute. So we have to conclude this one.
Sorry, totally off topic.
So you asked us about our attachment. I'm going to ask you this. I know this might just sound super detailed, but what are you attached to? You're like, I feel like you feel like you've accomplished that like peace. I just see it. I see it all over you. I feel like that's something that I wish I was sitting there, but you feel like you've accomplished that, mental peace and just like peace of life. So what's your attachment? Because when you have attachments, having peace with that at the same time, I don't know if they go hand in hand, but can you keep yourself like peaceful while being attached or connected to something like that? Is that a thing?
I'm not sure if I can say if I have like really strong overt attachments. At the same time, if I were totally free of attachments, I would be enlightened by now, which I'm not. So I think there would be some desires that I do have, but not all desires are bad, like the desire to become enlightened,
Yeah.
or the desire to have the capacity to be able to help beings as much as I can, or rather more than I can. So I do have these aspirations, and I work towards fulfilling those. So, and while doing so, of course, I stumble upon my own inner blocks, like, oh, I'm not able to do it right away, so then you have to remind myself, be patient, everything cannot transform in one day. I wasn't born in a day, so I keep reminding myself, be patient with your own progress, be patient with your own path, because there is really nothing to run towards too.
Thank you for joining in and watching us. Remember, we're on every Sunday morning. Do tune in, and do remember the contest at the end of the episode as well. And I think Disha wants to say something.
Don't forget to subscribe to all our YouTube channels. Ring that bell so every Sunday you get that notification. And follow us on Instagram. All our handles are right there. Don't forget.
Yeah. And be nice to us. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
so much.
Barkha.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.